anyone can say they want to make $1 million.
Before you know it, the year's over.
This year flew by.
Yeah, if you're not intentional, it will.
Yeah.
Like, we are in the top percentile out of all of them. And then sometimes we look at them, we're like, dude, we need to do better.
Or we're terrible.
We are trash.
I think you have to really figure out what are your goals, and then if what you're currently doing aligns with your goals. What were like 3 of your biggest lessons in 2023?
Your team will either firing fast, looking at the business as like, welcome back to the Wealthy Business Podcast. I'm your host, Javi Chavez, COO of 5 7 to 8 figure businesses. I'm with my buddy, my mentor, someone who I really look up to, Brian Davila. How you doing, man?
Let's go, baby.
Yep, we've been crushing it. You know, we wanted to hop on and just talk about, what some of our goals are for 2024, some lessons that we've learned in 2023. So let's kick it off there, Brian. If you could sum it up to like one theme of the lessons that you've learned this year, what would it be?
That's tough. Let me think about this. One theme. I mean, I don't want to say disappointed.
Dang.
But I'll say I have high expectations, more than I think the average person, right? Because I remember there was a year where I think my goal was to do 50 deals, and I ended up doing like, we'll say 38, which was like higher than any first year of most realtors.
For sure.
And I remember I don't remember if I cried, but I remember I was in my car like pissed. I remember it was New Year's, it was nighttime. I was pissed because I didn't hit the goal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, job wasn't finished. I was supposed to do 50. I did 38 and I didn't do it. And I do somewhat feel like my 2023 was like that.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, for where I'm at in my life, I want to be a 7-figure earner. I'm like, and I like to be open about it. I like to be open and clear about everything. So I feel like I'm a 7-figure earner. I didn't do it this year. So 2024 though, I'm shooting my shot.
For sure. And so what are you going to do differently in 2024 than you did in 2023?
I think more clarity on like what exactly needs to happen to hit that 7 figures. I kind of paused flipping houses, which has been like my bread and butter for almost half a decade. So now, I'm gonna keep doing flips. I already bought like 5 flips. It's not even New Year's yet. I'm already at 5. If I can get like 25 to 35 flips, that alone should get me to almost 7 figures. And I think so that number one, action. Like, what action am I taking day to day to actually hit the 7-figure goal? For sure. And then secondly, I think this year I definitely indulged a lot, right? I golfed a ton, which is great, but if I'm not hitting my goals, I shouldn't be out golfing, right? For me. So golf, I spent like $50,000 on just Rolexes. Bought a bunch of Gucci stuff, my Gucci polos, my Louis Vuittons, this, that. I just indulged a lot. So what I want to do in 2024 is go back to being disciplined. So maybe if it's one word, it's going to be discipline.
I love that. Yeah. And one thing that you mentioned too that I think is super important is clarity. Right? A lot of people are like, hey, I want to go make $250,000 this year. Yeah. Or I want to go do XYZ. I want to flip 50 houses. Yeah. But you're not super clear on how to get there.
Exactly.
You have this high level goal, but you don't actually go the next step of like mapping out, okay, I need to make this many offers. Yes. I need to get this many deals under contract. And I need to like flip them for X amount of profit in order to hit my goal. And so I think taking clarity like all the way to like the next level of really outlining, I think is super important for a lot of people. And I don't think a lot of people do it. So I think that's good. So have you, sounds like you have, do you know how many, so you said you have to do 25 flips roughly. 25
flips. If Wealthy Investor does what it did last year, this year, that will get me there, right? I am also going to sell some of my rental properties. So I have like 5.
Why?
Because the goal is make $1 million, right? So to make $1 million flipping houses, you need capital. Like it's a very capital intensive business. Even if you raise capital, just things happen. So I text my assistant yesterday. I have 2 fourplexes. I have 5 fourplexes here in Vegas. I'm selling 2 of them just to get a bunch of
cash.
free up cash, have more in the bank, because I'm not so worried right now about building passive income. I just want to like flip houses and make a bunch of revenue.
Stack cash, baby.
So I think there's seasons for saving and holding and all that stuff, and then there's seasons of like being aggressive. So, and with interest rates going down, I believe it's going to be a good year for flipping houses. We'll see. I think Joe Biden's going to come out and say, "Hey guys, we beat inflation 2024. We're going to start lowering interest rates." And for a house flipper like myself, that's a great thing. So
love it. Yeah, man. I mean, I would definitely I resonate with what you were saying, just like this year for sure. I definitely indulged a lot. Like I went on like 4 really big trips. I went on a bunch of like little small stuff, lots of vacations. Did buy some Rolexes too. And don't get me wrong, like I loved all those things.
Yeah.
Like I joined a country club. I like did all this fun stuff.
Yeah.
But also transparently, it was like one of the years where I've made less money than I've made in a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, geez, like what needs to change? And it's like, like I stopped doing stuff for myself and I stopped being super intentional with the things that I was doing. So that's definitely a big area of focus for me as well. So like, what would you recommend? Because I know you just went to like, Brandon Turner's event.
Yeah.
Right. So like, what would you recommend to somebody who's like wants to get clear for 2024? What should they do?
So there's actually a wheel that we can go over. I'm going to pull it up. But first, I want to hear from you. Like, besides what you just shared, like, how would you summarize your 2023?
It was fun. So I got into a new relationship. I love it. It's amazing. I really spent the entire year here in Vegas, and living in Vegas, it's very easy to go blow a bunch of cash in a weekend.
Yeah. Go to a restaurant.
Yeah. Restaurant, drinks, like just fun stuff. Like I said, I went on a bunch of vacations. So, I really again, I indulged, I enjoyed, and like, I don't regret any of those things. And it was a lot of learning, right? This is my first year fully as like a COO and as a leader. Yeah. Right. So going from managing just like 5 to 8 salespeople to then now managing a bunch of companies. Yeah. That's been an adjustment. And I've learned a ton, and I'm excited to like take those learnings into 2024. Yeah. Started the podcast.
There you go.
Right. So this has been super fun, and like it's helped me become a better speaker, getting on stages. Yeah. Right. So it's tough because there's a lot of wins that happened this year. Yes. And also just a lot of like challenges too. Right. So I think anybody can look at life in one of 2 ways, right? You can either look at it as like, hey, you learned, or it's a mistake, right? Yeah. But, a lot of good lessons and a lot of good things that I think now that we've gotten clear as a company and also internally on like what I want 24 to look like. Yeah. I think we're gonna be able to go crush it. So
what were like 3 of your biggest lessons in 2023?
Your team will either rise or fall to the level of your standards. So you as a leader need to identify like what your standards are and make those so crystal clear to your team and reiterate those as often as possible. Because I think that's been a challenge for us. So I think that's a big lesson. I think firing fast is probably another lesson that like I need to take into practice a little bit more. But I mean, because it's tough, right? Like you want to give people a shot, and then and that's the next one. I think just looking at the business as like clear frameworks to help people succeed, right? Like, and then did I do everything in my power possible to help them succeed? And if I did, and they still aren't making the cut, then it feels way better to fire them. Yeah, well, it doesn't feel better, but it's a lot more warranted, and it's easier to fire those people. So I think those would be my 3 big lessons for the year.
Got it. One of them definitely has to be that I'll start with religion. So this year I got baptized. So for me, once you have clarity on the spiritual side, I feel like it really helps you make decisions. Because I think before I was very like, there wasn't like rules, I would say. Like you have moral rules, but I think after being baptized and, praying on stuff and asking God for clarity, sometimes I swear it feels like I get like super clear answers that I've never experienced that, where I'm like, God, what should I do? Next day, boom, someone's in the office and I'm like,
sort of opportunity
I'm
pops
like,
up.
like, what the hell's going on? So I think that was my first lesson, that like getting baptized, getting more involved in church can bring a lot of clarity and fulfillment. That's another thing that I felt like for the last, I'm 32, last 10 years, I had fulfillment with wife and kids and work, but I feel like now
it's deeper.
It's way deeper. Like I've cried more this year than I've ever have.
Yeah.
And I've cried for happiness.
For sure.
Yeah. Then these aren't even like sad cries. It's just like I'll have, even when we were in Brian Head, I was like, I shed a tear at one moment because I was just like,
look at what we built.
Yeah. Like I love this team. I love what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big lesson. Understanding sometimes that it's okay to feel like confused. And I used to feel like I was the only one that felt like that, where
everybody feels
confused, do you?
Yeah, I think like no matter what, if you're in like just in life, I think most people are confused. But then also if you're in like these leadership roles, like you are, like I am, right? Like Ryan, you're making decisions based on as much information as you can take, right?
Yeah.
And whether that be personal and also professional, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna take in as much information as possible, then try to make a decision.
Yeah.
But you can only ever be maybe 80% sure
that
you're actually making the right decision.
Yeah.
And is there even a right decision, right? So there's a ton of questions that come up. So yeah, I mean, I feel like, I'm uncertain a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You just got to like kind of be able to roll with whatever decisions that you make and feel good about it. And then have no ego and understand that you can pivot and change if you need to.
100%.
Yeah.
So, so just understanding like that feeling confused or uncertain is normal. But that's where, when you're confused, I think you have to really figure out what are your goals, and then if what you're currently doing aligns with your goals.
100%.
That's when you're not aligned, it even causes even more confusion. So like, even if we'll say health, for example, you want to lose weight, you want to be jacked, but
you're eating Panda Express.
You're eating Panda Express every day. And then subconsciously, you're going to have guilt.
For sure.
And first of all, you're not going to feel good because you're eating Panda Express. And then second of all, you're going to walk around every day with guilt, knowing that your goal in your mind is to look ripped and lose body fat, but then you don't work out and then you eat bad. It causes like confusion and
it's momentum too.
And momentum in your mindset.
For sure, right? You start you veer off the path a little bit, and then it's easier to veer off the path even more the next day.
Yep.
And the next day. Then it starts snowballing. Then all of a sudden 3-4 weeks go by and you haven't worked out or you haven't
100%.
Moved towards your goals in any way. And again, that's why I think I love that you brought up clarity in the very beginning, because it all starts with that, right? And then also you mentioned like religion and spirituality, like that. Those are your guiding forces. And then you're like, that's what you measure everything else against, right? It's like, does this align with me spiritually? Does it also align with my like personal goals, whatever those things are? So I think that's huge. That.
And even with like the clarity thing, or hitting your goals, right? If you start with, it sounds so lame and so cliche, but with small wins, like for me, health-wise, I haven't been, 2023 definitely didn't do it. That was not my healthiest year. So what I did after I reflected, I was like, all right, I want to be in better health. I'm going to run every day 2 miles. Every day, even though it's a small, tiny win, might take me 10 minutes to run a mile, 20 minutes a day, go outside and run. It's been a game changer for me.
Well, yeah, really quick. You used to be like a big runner. When I first met you in 2020, like you were running all the time, right?
All the time. I run like 8 miles a day, every day. Like I go for 2 runs a day because like the second run felt smoother than the first run. And I just completely fell off. And then like not clarity with the goals. Like, all right, well, I just won't work out. I'll just go straight to the office. Or, like I'll stay late here and I won't go work out. Or, I'll go do this instead of that. So small wins. And then lastly, I think this year, biggest lesson is just like, I'll go back to just the small things, like just simply working out, putting important stuff on your schedule. speaking about what you want, because it's also another thing. If like, let's just say you want to bench press 325, right? If you talk about it every day to everyone around you, people are going to start asking you about it. It's going to build accountability because they're like, dude, are you close? Yeah. Like, are you close? Are you still training? Like, what's going on? And it helps build momentum. So this year, I definitely didn't do that. And I used to do it all the time. Like when I wanted to do 50 transactions as a realtor, I was telling everyone, it's like, yeah, hey, my goal is 50 transactions. I got to do 4 to 5 a month. Last month I did it. You know, I'm behind this month, but I lost it.
And when people know what you're doing, they start helping too,
exactly.
Right? Like, it's like, I'm sure when you're like, oh, I'm trying to do 50 transactions, like, oh, let me link you up with Brian.
Yeah.
Right. Or same thing with like your fitness goals. Like, dude, oh, like I got a sick trainer. Oh, let's go work out. Oh, like, have you tried this? Have you tried this? So like doors start opening for you.
100%.
Like as you start speaking your goals and your targets out to the world. So I agree with that 100%.
And what about like, instead of the lacking frame, like what are some of the
wins?
The big wins or big experiences this year?
Yeah, I think the big stuff for me, similarly, like I finally found my groove in Vegas with like my fitness, and also just like I've gotten clarity over the last like 2 months and like kind of like where I want to go career wise too.
Yeah.
And just like with my income. So I think fitness wise, dude, I've been doing 2-a-days lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm doing yoga in the morning, and then I'm doing some sort of like hard workout at night, whether I'm lifting or doing like the HIIT classes and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I ran 800 meters in like, what was it? 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I don't know how to judge meters, but
it's fast, bro. That's 2 laps around the track.
Oh, okay.
In the
so
it's half
inside?
mile.
Okay, a half mile. Okay, got it.
So yeah, I was
Are you European?
No, I was a track star, man.
Okay.
Meters. Yeah. Well, that's what they measure the tracks by. But anyway.
Okay.
So there's that. I've been working really hard on. Also, again, I'm in a great relationship, so that's a huge win for me this year.
Shout out to Sam.
Shout out Sam.
Yeah.
Sam opened her salon too, so that's like that's really, really cool. She was really stressed on that. Like I said, dude, I mean, a lot of really, really good relationships got formed and a lot of really, really cool experiences. One thing that like I started doing recently that's helped out a lot is like, dude, I'm journaling. Okay. So like my framework right now is I start with wins. So I'm like, hey, like what went well today? So I do this at night. So I'm like, what went well today? So I'll like list off like 3 or 4 different wins. Like
interesting.
Yeah. So like, hey, like I got clarity on what I want the team to do, or hey, this went really well. For example, Arthur used one of the lines that I gave him and it worked. Like that's a win. Awesome. I love it. Right. And then after that, I go to challenges. So I'm like, hey, like what didn't go so well today? Yeah. And I'll outline those. And then I do like reframes. And what a reframe is like, I'm like saying it like as if I did it well. Right. So for example, I didn't work out today. Yeah. And then I'm saying it like as if I did. So like, I got to the gym, I got my full workout in and I crushed it. Right. So that's my reframe. Got it. And then at the end, I talk about, I'm like scripting out my next day. Like what are like the 3 main objectives that I need to get done today in order for tomorrow to be a success. So like, and I've done that for the last like month and a half or so, and I've really enjoyed it. So I've been doing it almost every day. And then that's also like, I wrote my life wheel in there too.
Oh, okay. Should we go over the life wheel?
Yeah. Like let me try to explain it, and then let me see if I'm missing anything. Okay. So basically you outline, like you rate yourself on a series of 1 to 10 on a bunch of different categories. Yes. Right. So you got money. Yep. You got career. Money and career are 2 different things, by the way. Yep. You got health. I think it's friends and family. Yep. You have contributions to society. Okay. And then I think I'm missing the other 6. Are you pulling that up right?
Yeah. So we got spiritual.
Yes.
And guys, grab a pen and paper. Yep. Like this is huge. I went to a retreat and we did this for 2 days, and it could be great. You could do this on your own, but we'll go through the 10. So spiritual, learning, partner/spouse, children, friends, environment, which is like your home or office, fun, health, career, and then money.
Got it. Yeah. And then I think one other one that I had on mine, and it was like slightly different, was relationship with self, which I thought was really cool. Like, what are you doing like internally to like feel better? And so again, that can go into like spirituality.
Yeah.
But I think that like, depending on what you believe, that's your relationship with God. And then like, you got to have like, what's your internal self-talk? Like, what are you doing? That could also go into health. Like, are you going to the gym? Are you eating right? All that kind of stuff too, which I thought is a good extra add-on.
Yeah. So how do you want to break this wheel down, or what do you want to do?
I mean, basically, like, I think a good exercise for everybody going into 2024 would first rate it 1 through 10 for the last year. Like, hey, how did I do in each one of these areas? And then I would, and this is it's slightly different to what you did, but like, I would then look at what would a 10 be in all of these aspects? Like, what would I need to do this year in order to make all of these a 10? And then after that, I think what you had us do was pick 3, right? That you wanted to focus on
Top
in 2024. Yeah, exactly. Because, and you can mention it too, but it's like people can only focus on really 3 big goals at a time before things get, convoluted. So yeah, what else would you add?
I think, so first you can reflect on those 10, what happened in 2023, the goods, the bads, and then kind of like Javi said, focus on 2024, and then break them down one at a time. I think spending an hour or 2 on each goal is important, because I think some people will just like, and I've done it too, where I'm like, okay, I want to make $1 million. Like, I'm excited, good. But like, reverse engineering how to actually hit that goal, why you want to hit it, like what's the purpose of it all? Do you actually think you can and do you think it'll actually matter? Because like, anyone can say they want to make $1 million.
For sure.
Right? And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, probably millions, maybe billions of people who are like, I want to make $1 million.
I think every person has said, I want to make $1 million at some point in their life.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, you're right. And then just getting clear, like, is it attainable? Right. Like, I think on the sheet too, we had like SMART, right? SMART goals, like specific, measurable, attainable, and timely, right? So can you do it in a year? Yeah. Is it specific? Can you measure like against it, right? So $1 million is a good goal if you think you can actually hit it and you have the skill set to go do it. Yeah. So what else? So that, and then I think another thing that I thought was super important was like my wife actually did this. And then seeing hers was very interesting because now I could kind of help hold her accountable. And, she's, was vulnerable on like what her reflections were and XYZ. And like a lot of the stuff I was surprised about. I was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know that you felt like this. I didn't know you felt like you were lacking here. And I think like with team members, friends, accountability partners, your relationship partners, like getting all these people on the same page is important. I agree 100%, right? Especially with your wife, spouse, partner, right? I think that's the most important one because that's who you spend the most time with, right? And if they can't get behind your goals or they're not knowledgeable of your goals, then I mean, it's going to make it a lot more difficult to achieve, right? Because that's the person that I would hope you share the most with and like knows you the best. So then if they're either not helping you or working against you, like you're fighting with hands behind your back, right? So 100%. Like, you need that support. So I think that's huge. So what else would you want to share about the life wheel?
I think, besides money also being, like very important, I think I talked about how spirituality is super important. Health is super important. And then I think that overall, once you have clarity on your top 3, then I think the next thing to do is try to build a plan to hit that goal in the first quarter. Right?
Yeah.
Because some people will be like, hey, I want to lose 5 pounds and da-da-da-da. Like, if you work hard, you could actually do it in 3 months.
Yep.
And then set another goal. But if you give yourself a whole year to hit the goal,
you're probably going to take the whole year.
You're probably going to take the whole year. So try to figure out, like, if I want to make $1 million, if I could figure out a way to buy 25 houses by March 31st, which is not impossible. People do it all the time. I'll be really good.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine, right? Yeah. So
you can go buy more Gucci stuff.
I can buy more Gucci stuff and not feel guilty. So yeah, I definitely think that would be the next thing. So like, let's talk about the first quarter.
Okay.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
What's on your mind first quarter 2020?
So health wise, because I always try to start with like the health stuff.
Yeah.
Because like if I'm feeling my best and I'm like optimizing my health, usually I show up to these podcasts sharper.
Yeah.
I show up to work sharper, all that type of stuff. Right. So first and foremost, I'm going to keep up with the 2-a-days. I'm trying to do those at least 4 times a week.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to work out 5 times a week at least. And then I'm trying to do maybe like a weekend one, but I'm a little bit more flexible on that.
Yeah.
So there's that. I'm trying to get my diet pretty down. So like I do the meal prep stuff. I go Foodie Fit. Shout out them.
Sponsor us, Foodie Fit.
Yeah.
Give us some meals.
Like half the office is eating Foodie Fit. We need some help, please. So we're doing that. And then I'm just trying to be like do some stuff outside at least like one day out of the weekend. Right. So
are you trying to get grounded? Are you outside?
Yeah, I mean, I meditate. So yeah, I do that every night. So that's also kind of like along the just like the health side. So trying to do like my whole like night routine and all that. I think I might join a new gym.
Okay.
I might get a personal trainer, I think, just to like really same thing, the accountability.
Yeah.
That's why you need coaching in life, guys.
Yeah.
Shout out Wealthy Investor, Wealthy Business. But yeah, like getting around coaches and like experts just to hold me accountable. So I'm probably going to do that. I had a guy on the podcast. He runs like this performance gym out here, and I was like, dude, that's actually pretty sweet. You show up, and there's always a personal trainer just waiting for you. But you pay a membership, and then you go, and like so you have a certain amount of sessions.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter what time, whatever. Like there's always gonna be someone ready to go for you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean that's cool. So that's the health stuff. Financially, same thing. I need to get back. Like, I'm going to get back on real estate.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to buy a whole lot of flips, but I think I need to do at least 2 by March.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like actively looking and like getting some my money and getting ready to go. So I need to do that. And then like leadership wise and like just company wise here, I think like really building out like our team and like I said, clarity around what each person needs to do to be like optimized. And so that way we hit all of our like goals for the first quarter.
Yeah.
So that's like really my main stuff is like, I just want to get super clear, like work wise, and then also take some massive action on like the personal side.
Yeah.
So those are kind of my top 3 right now.
What about, so we've been talking about goals for a while. Let's transition to leadership.
Okay.
You brought it up. I think it's really important. So like biggest lessons in 2023 on leadership. What would you say?
And then, like I said, I think like giving people, and this is more like it's kind of practical, but it's also leadership. Like just giving people the clarity around like what they're supposed to be doing every day. I think that's like seriously my biggest lesson, right? Because I could be motivational. I can get people excited. I can cast vision. You can cast vision. Ryan can cast vision. But like giving them like the how behind it, I think is super important.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I've really learned this year. And that's something that I'm going to try to carry into 2024. I think also along the same vein, recognizing when people do well. I think I do that okay.
Yeah.
But really just being clear on like just, hey, good job. Like you crushed this. Like this project was really, really good, especially in like our culture where it's a new thing all the time.
Yeah.
The wins don't get as celebrated as much as like, I think they should be.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it, like if we really like when it comes to like info and everything that we do, we are kind of in like we're in the top percent, like 1% of like if all like I think about all the people who make courses, all the people who sell education, all the people who do real estate. Period. Like we are in the top percentile out of all of them. And sometimes we look at it and we're like, dude, we need to do better.
Yeah.
We're like,
or we're terrible.
Yeah. We are trash. Yeah. Right? And again, I think that's good because it motivates people to work harder. Just like you, like you said, like, bro, like you were in your car crying because you didn't close 50 deals? Yeah. You did 39?
Yeah.
Most realtors will never do 39 transactions
100%.
a year.
I was literally the top agent in the office.
Right? So you got to have like, and it's great because it's a great motivator, but sometimes you do need to like stop and smell the roses and, recognize those things. So that's another thing is just because of our culture and like we're very high performance, recognizing the wins as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then, I think, and then just trying to put people in the right place to succeed, and then understanding what gears to turn for certain people. So like just changing my delivery on like what I say depending on the person that I'm working with.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's where I kind of struggle because I'm like a hammer. Everything I'm just like, boom, boom, boom. Let's just hammer everything.
Yeah. You need a wrench?
Yeah. Nope. But
what about you?
I think for me, so 2023, I think leadership wise was one of my best years because I was super abrasive 2022, 2021.
I would agree 100%. You've definitely grown a lot in that area.
I've grown a lot in that area. I think like now, I think in 2023, I think mentally a lot of the time I was spread out. I was focused on this department, that department, this department, where like when you're doing or thinking about so many things, it could be difficult to implement and kind of see things.
And nothing gets done to like the best of your ability.
Exactly.
Right? Everything's at like a C or B plus.
Yeah, exactly. So I think 2024, I think some stuff I'm going to have to just make priorities. Like, hey, like this department over here, I know it's not there, but let me like double down on this department, right? Maybe it's your finances, right? Like, hey, like, you know, I'm not going to, go golfing this week or this month. I'm not doing anything fun until I really dial in my finances on saving and spending. That's better than just having it like on the back of your mindset and you kind of glance at it than just like being disciplined and diving into that department.
For sure.
So that's what I think I've learned this year and in 2024, and I've already started in 2023, just taking one department of my life or the business at a time and just say, hey, I'm going to freaking just really dive deep into this until I'm comfortable. And then I will transition to something else. But, if I focus 100% on something, it's going to end up better than me trying to give it like 10 to 20%.
Yeah. And like, I think that's super important just to like block off one aspect of your life and double down on that or your business, right? Yeah. And just really get that in order. Because again, like you said, otherwise things just get built halfway or 75%. And then you go to the next thing and then you got a shaky foundation.
100%.
So I think that's huge. And you mentioned something too. It's like, I'm not going to golf until I hit this, right? Yeah. So like, I think there's value in like dangling a carrot in front of you or like having some sort of reward at the end, right? Yeah. Like, I go make $1 million, then I'll go buy my next rollie or like whatever your thing is, right? Yeah. Like, then I'll book the vacation or, some sort of reward at the end. And then because it also teaches you like delayed gratification too.
100%.
Which I struggle with.
And it's so funny you actually said that because I remember when I was younger, I was the king of delayed gratification. I was literally so good at that. It was almost like I was like too good because I was so cheap when I was younger. It was crazy. Like I used to work at Pizza Hut, the movie theater, and Sonic, right? At the same time.
Dang. Yeah. You were the fast food king.
Yeah, I was the fast food king, boy. But anyways, while I was working those 3 jobs, I never ate out. I'm talking about never, Javi.
So you were just like eating ramen or what were you?
No, I was eating Sonic, popcorn at the movie theater, or Pizza Hut. All the time because it was free. Yeah. And I remember I was so cheap when I was younger, I'd go to the gas station and let's say I went with you and you went and bought a bag of chips in Arizona and it was like $3. I'm like, well, that's $3. I'm making like $5 an hour. That's like half an hour of work. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. And I did that for years. I saved like 30 grand before I was 21 because I was just so cheap. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I was extremely cheap when I was like psychotically cheap. I remember the first time I went to a club, the bartender was like, oh, it's $6. I was like, hell no.
Yeah, now you're spending $20 for a cocktail.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't buy it. And I remember I went back to our table and I was like, dude, they're charging us $6. I can go to the gas station and buy a Four Loko for like
Four Loko's gonna get me way more drunk.
Yeah. I was like that. And I lost that. I completely lost it.
Oh, for sure. I never had it.
Yeah.
I've always been like, let's get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so bad at that. Like, I once I get a thought in my head, actually, like the one thing that I did wait on was the Rolex. Yeah. But even that, like, I probably could have waited longer.
Yeah.
Like,
I freaking... I was like that for so long. And even up till I'm 32 right now, when I was like 28, I remember my monthly expenses, including supporting my mom, supporting my kids, everybody, was about $6,500.
And how were you doing financially at the time? Like,
I was making $1 million a year. I was crushing it.
Yeah.
And I was still extremely frugal. And then, you know what's funny too? Ryan used to be like that too. I don't know if you know that.
I do.
I remember when I first started hanging around Ryan, he was like, yeah, I just bought this new iPhone. I bought it from some guy on Facebook. Like, what? And he was already making millions of dollars. And I was like, what? Like, he was more frugal than I was. I was like, I would at least go buy
I get it because he was couch flipping.
Yes.
And like, he doesn't tell us part of the story, but he flipped iPhones. Yep. He flipped a bunch of other like small miscellaneous stuff along with the couches.
Yeah.
The couch is just the stuff that gets like the views.
But I'm talking about, he was already flipping houses.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But like, but he kept that same mentality going into it, which I think is so funny.
Yeah. Or I think he bought like headphones and like they didn't really work. And I'm like, bro, why are you buying like used headphones from Facebook? You're freaking balling.
Yeah. Well, and then he said like he would always like trade his cars. And because he was like, you'd always buy a used car.
Yep.
Do this.
He used to have like a Lexus or something like that.
Yeah. He had a Lexus like IS like 250 or whatever it is. And then he bought the same exact car for Mindy because like it was just a really, really good deal. They drove, I think, really far. I think they drove like to another state to go get the car from some guy.
Yeah. So
and then now look at us.
Now we're just out of control. So now I'm out of control. So
I am too.
Yeah. This is a budget show, but yeah. So delayed gratification.
I need Dave Ramsey,
dude. Seriously. Or even for me, there was a time, we won't post a picture, but I was extremely ripped at one point where I was like,
oh yeah,
shredded.
You showed me the picture. I was like, damn, that's Brian?
Yeah,
that was big.
I was shredded. And I remember that I was so disciplined with my meals. Like I would eat like spinach and chicken. Like I would boil chicken just because I seen it on like these bodybuilder videos and stuff like that. And it was terrible, tasted terrible, but I loved doing it because I knew I was just winning in that area.
Yeah.
And I completely lost it. I just got very like complacent.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like doing like the HIIT classes and stuff because like I'm like sprinting in those classes and I'm like, and then I walk out, I'm like, damn, I did something. Like I feel like my body like really like worked hard. Yeah. And then like you respect yourself a little bit more.
100%.
Yeah. And you're like, damn, like I'm still a beast.
Yeah. I'm trying to get back to benching 225 5 times. I can't do that. But Ryan's like, you're so weak, dude. You can't even do this. I was like, all right. So I've been working out bench press and tracking it. Yeah.
Just walks into the gym, does 5 bench. But
I actually did that on Thursday.
And then you walked right out.
I did 4 sets. So I did 135.
This is not the way to work out, everybody.
It's not the way to work out, but on my Google Sheets, I can tell you what I hit.
Oh, but he did track it, so that's good.
And I'm serious, right?
Okay.
So,
all right.
I did 135 10 times, and then I did like 155 like 5 times.
Okay.
Then I did 185 like twice, and then I went to 205. I did that, and then I tried to hit 225.
That's
and
a lot of sets. So I get
5 sets.
I mean, I'm saying like to then try to go to your heaviest one.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Well, I literally did these 5 sets and then walked out. I didn't even stretch.
If anyone's in Vegas that wants to be Brian's trainer,
hit me up. Like DM me at the Brian Davila. I will not pay because we just went over this, but
he has 100,000 followers. So
I'll give you a shout out. but yeah, just like these, like the delayed gratification.
Yeah, I think it's
great theme for 2024. I'm not buying any more designer this, designer that. I am buying. My goal too in 2024, don't buy any new clothes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no new clothes.
Well, buy some stuff for stage, but like
no. Wealthy. I'm gonna be on brand just gonna get every single day.
The new swag that we get every
I'm gonna be on brand when I sleep, when I get here on stage. I'm just rocking straight wealthy merch every day.
All of a sudden we start ordering wealthy boxers and stuff.
Yeah.
Why did we get these? Brian said he needed
socks,
them.
We need socks, guys. I don't have any.
I'd wear some wealthy socks, but no, I agree. I think like, and that's just the key to success at any stage of life, right? I mean, a lot of people talk about it, so I won't go too deep into it. But like once you reach a certain, like the next level of lifestyle, then you automatically spend more money.
Yes.
Then you reach the next tier, and you automatically spend all the money there, right?
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, like I'm still broke.
100%.
So yeah, and I'm totally guilty of that.
100%.
And yeah, so I think for me, delayed gratification is also like a big theme, and just discipline in general, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm by some people's standards successful, by others they'd be like, dude, what the heck are you doing, right?
Yeah.
So like for me and for my own personal standards, more importantly, like I'm like, dude, I'm just getting started. So like I need to continue to like stay focused on the path. Otherwise, like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too. I think last thing that I know you're about to say something, but like, dude, if you're not intentional with every single day, before you know it, the year's over.
100%.
Like this year, just like everyone always says, this year flew by.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not intentional, it will.
100%. What did you learn from going on these big vacations?
They're fun.
Are they?
I like to eat and I like to drink. Yeah. I mean, okay. So like, for context,
where'd you go?
For context, I did a Disneyland trip in the beginning of the year. I grew up with Disney, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun."
Yeah.
Whatever. And then, like honestly, like I don't need to do another Disney trip.
I was like, "Who goes to Disneyland?" But all right,
bro, I grew up with like The Lion King and Little Mermaid, so I was like,
"Who'd you go with?"
I went with Sam.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
yeah, I mean, it was like our first. Like we had been dating for like 3 months, and I was like, it was January last year, and I was like, oh, like. They got like, the snow and all the crap. It'll be cute, whatever. So we went. Okay, so we did that. Then I went to Stagecoach, which I'll probably do again this year. That's a country concert. I went with like a bunch of like friends and stuff.
Okay.
Like, and that's like because now I don't live near them. So like that's like my one time to like reconnect and hang out.
100%.
So I did that. Then Cabo with the company.
Okay.
Then Greece was the big trip.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I still want to do like maybe like one big trip a year, but like that's it.
Yeah.
And then, I just like getting around other cultures and like eating food.
You went to Cabo too, though, right?
Well, yeah, I went to Cabo, and then that's a company trip though. Like, I want to do like something for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you went to Cancun by yourself?
No, I went to Cabo with the company.
Yeah.
And then we went to Cancun with the company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah, we did both of those, and then
So you went on 5 trips then?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So that. Let me see if I did anything else.
You didn't do any Cali trips?
I did a quick weekend trip for my buddy's birthday to San Diego, but that's like a hop, skip, and a jump. That's not a big deal.
Didn't we do? We did a company San Diego trip.
That was 2 years ago.
Oh, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Okay, got it.
But anyway, so yeah, lots of trips, lots of fun, and then that doesn't include, like I said, all the golf. I mean, what I learned is like, I mean, personally, I do enjoy those things.
Yeah.
And I just need to work harder.
Yeah.
To feel good about it. You know what I mean? If I put in a full week's worth of work and I feel good about where I'm at by Friday, I'm gonna go play golf.
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But if I didn't do the things that I needed to do for that week, then I shouldn't be going out.
Yeah.
Right. But the reward, like we talked about, like you delay your gratification until Saturday. And if you did everything Monday through Friday, you're good. And if you didn't, you can't go.
100%.
Yeah.
So
what did you learn this year by doing fun stuff?
This year, what I do that was fun. I don't even know. What did I do? Did I go anywhere? I went to California a few times.
Yeah.
I went to California. We did Brian Head, which was super fun.
Oh yeah, we did Brian Head. Yeah. That was a good time.
That was a highlight of the year for sure.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't even remember. Honestly, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I went
Nothing worth doing then,
no,
right?
We went to Cali. For the Hollywood event.
Yeah. Well, but I don't count that as like a vacation though.
It felt like it at some points.
I mean, yeah, you're flying, you stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You drive.
Go listen to that podcast from Brian in California, see if anything's different.
We had a few cocktails on the podcast. It was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I get that. I mean, so along with the like professional, the monetary goals, what else are you going into 2024 really focused on?
I think 2024, in order for it to be the best year of my life, which is what I want, right? So health, fitness, money. Hopefully we might have another child. We will see.
Is Jess down?
No, not right now, but we will see.
Yeah.
I do my little,
you're a good
I wear my
salesperson.
tight shirt.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm a bench 225.
Yeah, we bench 225. I have to buy her a Chanel bag.
Yeah. So that's the only designer you're gonna buy.
Yeah. That's the only thing I'm gonna spend money on. But I mean, with the kids, right? So my youngest son, baby Jake. He's getting so cute right now. I feel
cute,
like 6 months, I think, in my opinion, is like when babies are the absolute cutest.
I would agree.
Yeah. Cause like when they're like 1 to 2 months, they can't hold a bottle. They can't like do a lot.
It's literally just like
just like a blob. But like 6 months, they could hold a bottle.
Yeah.
They know who you are. They grab you. They're like super cute. So I'm excited for that. And I think as far as like on the father side, I definitely want to spend more time with them. So that's why like I want to take them golfing a lot more. Like I showed you some videos. Like my son crashed a golf cart. Like we did a bunch of fun stuff. I put a fake ball for Noah to freaking hit. Yeah. And he hit it and it blew up and he didn't know what it was. And he was like, so that funny.
Poor kid.
Yeah, it was so fun. He actually hits pretty good. He hits further than Edgar. We golf with Edgar. Yeah, I think
Edgar's one of our sales guys.
Edgar's one of our sales guys, and it's interesting because the golf coach was his name Jonathan.
Joe.
Shout
out Joe.
Yeah, shout out Joe. He told me when I first started golfing with him, he's like, "Yeah, it's interesting. Kids can actually learn faster because they don't have any like
bad habits.
Yeah, any bad habits, or they're not trying to keep the face open. You just tell them, and he could hit it pretty good for like
he's
not
like
getting
10?
coaching.
9?
Yeah. 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 12 actually. So 12. About to be 13, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
But so yeah, I think just experiencing all that this year with the kids, I want next year to be even better.
So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to be more intentional with the time they spend with their kids?
You got to take them out. I think for me, I've learned that if I'm like, oh, we're going to hang out at home, like we'll play for a little bit, but then I'll just like go on my cell phone, or the kids will start watching a movie, or maybe they're not in the vibe to hang out right now and I am, and then I kind of annoy them and then I got to leave them alone. And then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so taking them golfing with me, going out to the strip to go walk around casinos. We went to like, there's like, I don't know, some place where the walls have like dinosaurs and all this stuff.
Sick.
At the Area 15.
Oh yeah, Area 15's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, we've done all this stuff, but taking them out is definitely completely different. Even my daughter, I took her to the park on Sunset. I don't know if you've been there, where there's like ducks. Yeah. And my daughter is like the most wild out of all the kids. I'm like, Camila, go grab this duck. And she's like grabbing a big ass duck. So like, doing stuff like that. So just getting out of the house, not just like, all right, we're going to sit at home. Even if we don't, like when we went to the park, I just paid one of the guys with carts for some bread and just did that. And that was great for like 2 hours. Yeah. So just getting out of the house.
So getting out of the house and then being intentional with the time you're spending with the kids.
100%.
Yeah. And I think that goes for your partner too.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So me and my wife started date night this year. So just, last year was our hardest time of our relationship ever. I think I told you some of it. Yeah, it was hard. Like it was hard. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I remember when I first got married and I would hear other men talk about like, relationship problems and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, me and my wife do it all the time. Me and my wife are this. Like, this is crazy. I don't get it. But then after, 8 years, you're gonna go through some rough patches, right? That's just what it is. Like even me and my best friend have gotten into arguments. Like it's life. It's life, yeah. Yeah. So this 2022 toughest year. This year a lot better because we had date nights where me and her just go out, and it's funny because I'll see memes sometimes where there's like a married couple and they're like, "Hey, I actually don't hate you. It's not that bad." But sometimes you just need to like get the kids away and just go hang out with them. And then you'll find usually that you still love them. It's great, but you have the finances, you have the kids, you have
life happens.
The trash, the laundry, all this stuff on you. And then that frustrates you and then you take it out on your partner. So date night has been like super important for us.
What else would you say has helped, like from going to like your hardest year to like a much better year?
Yeah. I would say date night, also like religion, also like me stepping up as a leader. That is something that this year I did better at. Mm-hmm. So like I was very passive, let's say from 2020 to 2022. I was very passive with my wife and the family. Like for example,
it's like stepping into like the masculine energy kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So like my wife, for example, like she used to take the kids to a different type of church. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you know what? I don't care. Like, you know, her parents are that religion. My kids are so young. But then realizing like, hey, like, you know what? I don't want them going there. Even if it's an hour and a half, I want them going to a Christian church. And so I actually have to go to church to get that done. So like stepping up there, stepping up on like, even like little things like a sleep routine, we were very laxed on. Like sometimes they go to bed at 10, sometimes they go to bed at 8:30, sometimes they go to bed at 9. Now, like at 8, get ready, we're going to bed. We are going to bed right now. At 8:30, everyone is in bed. We prayed. They're set up. That's what it is.
Peace.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like I'll still be in there, or I'll be in there until they fall asleep, or sometimes they go in there and they just knock out. But we're all in bed at 8:30. They don't come downstairs till 7:30. That's what it is. If they come down at 7:15, go upstairs. It's not 7:30 yet. Like that gives Jessica time to like do her thing. So like stepping into that masculine role and not being so laxed, even if I get even more personal with like some of her family members, older family members, especially on your partner side, right? They think they know, they have all these.
Yeah, they just have opinions.
Yeah, they have opinions, right? And this year, I definitely let them all know. Not all of them.
I let them all know.
Yeah, I let them all know. Hey, I'm the man. But no,
it's my house.
Yeah, you know? but not exactly like that, but something like that where I would hear opinions that I didn't appreciate, but I was so passive before that I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, it's not worth it. But this year, I was just like, hey, this is what I think. And I understand you think XYZ, but I don't care to hear it. And if you can't respect that, then I don't know what to say. Like you could not come to the house. We could still be cool, but I'm not going to accept that here. Because what happens is it brings confusion to the family or even like your partner. If her dad is telling her, Javi should be doing this, Javi should be doing that, and you don't agree, but you're kind of like, it could become a problem if you don't like step up and say something. And I agree. That's what I had to do this year.
And that's a great segue into like, that's the same thing that you need to do in business too.
Yeah.
Just getting clarity. And then like, if you don't agree with something, got to speak up and make sure that, you know, where you're leading people in the right direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I agree 100%.
What did you learn on the relationship side with Sam?
That's a good question. I think this year, and because I've dated quite a few people.
Damn.
Clip that. And I've dated like a few people, and like each time I thought like, okay, like this is like my person, or like this is like the person that I'm going to end up with. But then you like meet, and then you're like, whoa, you meet the actual person, and you're like, okay, like there's like the true compatibility, like true, like I think with her and I, we've shared pretty much everything. So it's like, so it's like I put it all out there, and so did she, to like make sure like, hey, like this is who I am. This is like setting clear expectations, setting clear boundaries, and then like, do you still want to be with me?
Yeah.
And then like, yeah. And so like getting all of that out. So then she feels empowered about like calling me out on something, right? Like if I'm on my phone for too long, or if I'm like working too much, like she'll say something, right? And she'll check me. But then on the flip side, same thing with like always operating out of that masculine energy, like, and making sure that like I am leading the relationship. Cause at the end of the day, that's like all that she wants. Right. Cause, she's just like, dude, I just want to show up and chill. Like, I don't want to make decisions. I don't want to like do that. And granted, she's also extremely like entrepreneurial, right? She like opened a salon. She's had her own business for the last like few years, right? Like, so in her day-to-day life, she operates a lot out of like the masculine energy. But then when like the two of us are around, like she wants to dip back into like that feminine. So I think making sure that I'm always showing up the right way and being like, would I want to date me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think those are the big ones. Also just like, I don't know the best way to say this, but like going through all the right steps in progression, like if I had a gun to my head right now and they're like, are you going to marry her? And I'm like, hell yeah. But I also like want to be patient and wait and like set a few things up first. So, but yeah, so I think those are like a few of the fun things. But again, I've only been dating for a year, so take it with a grain of salt. But like, I think I'm trying to build like I am building like a really good relationship with her. So I hope that it continues.
What about on like the faith side? Because you just started going to church. So like, why did you start?
So
what has happened?
I'll give you my background. I grew up Catholic, but not like super Catholic. I was like going to like Catholic church. I got confirmed. I got baptized, all that type of stuff. And then I was actually a youth leader for a little while. So like I was like when I was between like 14 to 17, like pretty active, going out at least like once a week to like the meetings and all that stuff for like the kids or youth group, whatever.
Okay.
Then went to college, whatever. Totally fell off. I think as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like I've just been diving more deep into like spirituality and myself and like, what do I really believe? And I was like, dude, well, like it's worth going. Like I felt like some sort of calling to go.
Okay.
But yeah, like I like, I'm not gonna say that I've been a student of the Bible. I can't recite every verse, but like most stories I like understand and remember and like from like.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite chapter?
I mean, dude, I understand Book of Genesis because the first one. That's easy.
Love the Adam and Eve story.
Yeah, like, but I mean, if you get like Cain and Abel, or if you go like talk about David and Goliath, and like the typical biblical stories, like I know and I remember, like I can recall those stories, and I think there's a lot of value in the Bible. To be honest, I don't know if I fully vibe with everything at City Light. I think Jabin's awesome. I think he's an amazing speaker. I think he's got great stories. I just like, I went twice.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it was good, but I don't know. It's not like,
oh my gosh.
I know.
Did you go last week? No, you weren't here last week. Right?
Yeah, we were in Briar Head. I went the week before that, I think. And again, I think.
Let's talk about it. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, we can talk about it. But like, I think the sermon or like Jabin's, I don't want to call it a speech, but I would call it a sermon. His, whatever you call it. I think those are always amazing.
Yeah.
And like, even so I think that was great.
Yeah.
And I think like, so part of me is like, would I vibe more just going to Bible study or something like that?
Yeah.
Where like, I'm just studying the Bible. And like the lessons and the life of Jesus. I think that's something that I am still interested in.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it was about City Light.
Let's talk about it.
I don't know. I'm like trying to like figure out.
Talk about it.
I'm trying to like figure out what it is. Yeah, I don't know, man.
There had to be something that was said or
well, I don't think it's okay. So maybe it's not, as far as churches go, City Light's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's tough to get behind something. It's kind of what Brad Lee was talking about too, that like has been altered and changed so many times. That's why I don't vibe with the Catholic Church either, because I mean that the Bible has been changed so much over the course of the 2,000 years since Jesus, right? So do I believe Jesus was a real human being, walked the earth, all that, Son of God?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe?
I think so.
Whoa.
I mean,
I didn't know this.
Yeah. And then
don't the Catholics believe that?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
But then it's like, okay, how, like, so let me rephrase. So I do believe in Jesus.
Okay.
But then how much has the Bible been changed over the course of the years? Also, like, how poorly has an institution like the Catholic Church, like, really mismanaged their power, right? Like with priests touching little boys and all that bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then they are like one of the richest little countries, like in the Vatican. But anyway, I've been talking a lot. There's all of that stuff that's like, it's tough to like fully get behind. And then if people this is another one. So if people don't know the word of Jesus, never heard of him ever, they live in Africa, right?
Yeah.
And they're still not saved?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of questions.
I don't know, but hold on. we're gonna get to all this stuff. First, I want to know what about the city light specifically. I know you know. There's something that was said. Or
no, I don't know if it was like.
I'm sure it's not like one thing that someone said, but it's like.
Well, it's like that. And okay, so here, this is actually good. Okay. So you want to know what like travel and stuff has like helped me? I've been exposed to a bunch of different cultures, and like so. The Hindus think that they're the right religion. The Muslims think they're the right religion. So who are we to say that we are the right one?
Yeah.
Right? It's tough. Yeah. Right? And so tough, it's a difficult thing to like fully wrap my head around. And it's and if I really look at all the different religions, like at least the big three, right? The big three, Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim faith. Yeah. They all have very similar stories.
Exactly.
And they all have very and so it's like one's just a little different interpretation than this one. Yeah. And even in Christianity, there's like, I don't know how many different subsets of Christianity. Yeah. So it's like
denominations.
Denominations. Yep. Yeah. So that's tough too. So it's like, how do you determine what's right?
Yeah. So there's nothing at City Light that you could share.
No. I think as far as like non-denominational churches, right? Because again, I grew up going, nothing about City Light in particular. If I were to pick a Christian church in Vegas or anywhere, I think City Light's for sure the sickest one. So shout out City Light. I got nothing bad to say about it. Yeah. It's just tough, man, because like there's so many different ideologies out there.
But what do you believe? Because it doesn't matter.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that there is some sort of higher power that has created everything.
Okay.
And so God, that's God.
Yeah.
Right. I believe that Jesus Christ existed and walked the earth because there's so many historical accounts that like he was actually there.
Yeah.
I believe in like the power of like prayer. But to some people, prayer is manifestation. Some people, because I think, and that's why I meditate too, right? Because that's like time by yourself and also time with God, right? And just getting clear on like your connection with that higher power. And I believe in like, and again, I think God is also like energy and like, because again, the same thing when you start talking about things and you start like thinking about stuff, all of a sudden things start to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that is God.
Yeah.
And I think, so people would say God is opening doors for you. Other people would say that, you believe in the universe and I'm not, so like, I think it's both the same thing in my eyes. Right. So I think God's working whether you're Christian or not.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah. I believe, God's working whether you're Christian or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, I don't, it's tough, man. I can't sit here and say like, yes, like Christians are 100% right. Cause the likelihood of that's pretty low in all.
Is it? It's the biggest religion in the world.
The Muslim religion is the biggest religion in the world.
Is it?
Yep. There's more practicing Muslims than there are Christians. But it's like so.
And they believe in like Islam, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So the Islamic faith is the number one. I believe Christianity is number two.
But they both believe in the Bible.
The Muslims, as far as I know, and again, I'm not a theologian. Yeah. But the Muslims believe. But the Muslims believe in the Quran.
They also believe in the Bible,
they
right?
recognize they recognize the Bible, but it's not like their holy text.
Yeah.
Right. So their holy text is the Quran, and I believe that they do have some excerpts of the Bible in there. I think, I don't know. But
I know they believe in Jesus.
They do believe that Jesus is one of the prophets. Yes. They don't believe he's the prophet.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. So and then same thing. The Jewish faith believes like I think they acknowledge that Jesus existed. Yeah. They just don't think he's the son of God.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could argue that everybody's the son of God.
Yeah, if we're all made of the same materials, then we're like each other. But okay, so to unpack some of my opinions.
Okay, I've been talking a lot. So you go.
So first of all, with the whole Catholic thing, right? I believe man is not perfect. So all the mistakes that happened and the priest that did X, Y, Z or whatever, I don't hold that against the church or God or Jesus, right? Because it's like, there's Christians that have done the worst of the worst of things, right?
For sure.
That's not going to change my relationship with God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit.
I agree.
Yeah.
But really quick then, like how can we trust the Bible when those are the people responsible for the pages?
they didn't write it. I mean,
but they altered
the
it.
pastors that did XYZ, I don't think.
Yeah, but like that's like the same culture that's led to those things, right? Like, anyway, but I'll let you keep going.
But yeah, so like those men or any man that does a sin and does whatever, right? I'm not going to take their mistakes and put that towards God or
that's fair.
Yeah, because even like I've made a ton of mistakes. So and I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
So like I can't hold or judge anyone for their mistakes, right?
Sure, I agree with that.
And for me, like when I decided to get baptized, I started going to church. I was like, okay, I was praying, God, give me clarity, give me signs, and I felt like I got them. Issues that I struggled with, sins that I was battling with for a long time went away like that. And I think I told you, I haven't had anxiety. I used to have anxiety. That's not even the sins or the stuff,
but like
issues, but that's one of them.
You felt at peace.
I felt that peace, more fulfillment. Haven't felt anxiety since then. Like all these different things. So to me, just that for me was enough proof that it's real and it exists, and that.
And I don't disagree. I don't think that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. I just think that that it exists for us to like it's so hard for us to put like a label on it and it's just Christianity is tough for me, because I guarantee you that there are miracles that have happened for people of the Muslim faith and they believe that it's their Muslim God.
Because God is real.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no question in my mind that God is real.
Yeah.
Like everything is happening so perfectly for it. Like it's so hard to believe that, it's not. Or we live in a simulation. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
A robot.
Yeah. No, but so I don't disagree with that, but it's like, okay, so, and same thing with the Jewish faith, right? There are people who like believe that there have been a ton of miracles that have been done by their God.
Yeah.
So,
but their God is our God.
And
there's one God.
I know, but people are praying to different gods, right?
I think they're praying to the same God. I
think they are too. Like, but they just don't know it.
I think they know it. I think like my God could be the same God as like Islam. Like I've never read the Quran. I have no idea, but I believe that they believe in the Bible and more, because I think
they recognize it as like a religious text, but I don't think
or even like the Mormons, for example, they believe in the Holy Bible and the Book of Mormon and some other stuff, right? So like they have other books. They do. I
know.
But I'm saying that like I believe that we came from God, and I believe when I pray, when I worship, when I fast, when I read the Bible, like last night I was reading the Bible to Noah. Noah got into an argument with somebody at school, and we were talking about it, and I was like, you got to forgive, you got to turn the other cheek. So we started reading the book of Matthew, and in the book of Matthew they talk about turn the other cheek, and all this.
How you want to be treated,
all that stuff. Yeah, so we're reading the Bible, and it's just so powerful. And like I don't know how long ago the Bible was written, but for that text to still
for sure
like work in today, like there's something special about it, right?
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So like for me, feelings wise, which I'm not a big feeler, like everyone that I've known me says I'm dead inside, but after experiencing church and feeling the feelings that I've had and seeing the miracles or changes that have happened in my life, and like I said, the signs, like I'm getting such clear signs sometimes that it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, this is literally like, even just going to Better Life. I told you, like, I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. You felt called to go do it.
Yeah. I saw Brandon post something about it. I was like, oh, is this just for students? He's like, dude, I'll give you a VIP ticket. I was like, okay. Going there, the people that I sat next to, the stuff they were talking about, like the meditation, everything was just, it's like, and that happened from Sunday to Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking for clarity. I fasted for clarity. I was like seeking it. 1 p.m., like that spiraled out. But just so that's what I would say. I think.
Yeah, and I think there's a ton of value in that. Like, so I don't disagree that all of that is real.
Yeah.
Right. But
have you prayed on it?
I mean, I've thought on it. Like, I'll go pray. I'll go home and pray.
You got to pray. That's the problem. So I don't know if I should say that's the problem, but in the Bible, last night, I wish I need to get better at reciting it, but it was talking about prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that where meditation and all these things are missing is God. I've always believed that because it's almost like you're asking when someone already has the answer.
Mm-hmm. You just gotta listen to their answer.
It's like if me and you are sitting next to each other and you're like, you have a problem, but you're not asking me. And I'm like, just ask. If
I get that.
Ask, if you pray and you truly, seek the word, I think you will find it.
Yeah. And so I've also gotten a lot of clarity too. But like my struggle with it is, like I said, I think if you ask somebody who believes in like the Hindu religion, right?
Yeah.
They would say the exact same thing that you're saying to me about Christianity.
And that's okay. But why does that, like, to me, that doesn't bother me.
No,
that's great. Like,
no, it literally does not bother me either. That's my point.
But why is it stopping you then?
Because who's right? Are you right? Is he right? Who's the right one? I think can they both be right? I think they can, because I think
they could. Yeah. I don't know if that's like, again, because I'm a brand new Christian.
I know.
But I believe that, God is so powerful.
So what I would really quick, the Christian answer is that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the part where I'm like, are they though?
Yeah.
Is it just Christianity just dressed up as something else? Because I think there's so many similarities with all different religions and so many different great stories of like miracles happening, so that it's like, it's hard to like be like, this is the one.
Have you ever had like a religious experience?
I think I've had moments of like really, really strong clarity and things that like I've been called to do in times, and like those things have like worked out for me. Mm-hmm. So I would, and then like, I will say that like City Light's great at like bringing up emotion for sure. Like, bro, that's what the non-denominational churches, they got the music down.
Yeah.
City Light's got the music down. You're there and you're like, yeah buddy. Like, oh God, this is us. And like, hey.
That's Kirk Franklin, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, so they got that down, right? And then so you're in the right headspace to like receive God and that's why I think church is important and impactful for sure.
Yeah.
What was I getting at?
Religious experience.
So like I think there have been times like even coming to Vegas, right? Like really thinking on that, and I think I prayed, and I think I like really just like asked for like some sort of like, what should I do? Like, is this the right idea? Is this the right thing? And like for me, I think it's worked out, and like it was. Yeah. And so like when I think back on like a lot of these life-changing things, I'm like, I don't think it was just me.
Yeah.
That made those decisions.
Yeah.
So.
But do you ever feel like God has spoken to you?
Have I ever heard God's voice? No.
Okay.
But could I say like, was I listening and did I take certain actions because I felt a certain type of way? Yeah. And then do I think or hope that was God who was guiding me in those decisions? And when I'm like actively hoping or looking for some sort of opportunity or clarity, things all of a sudden kind of pop up, right?
Yeah.
So opportunities present themselves. So would I consider that God? Yes.
Yeah. Does Sam believe in God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she grew up Christian as well. But Sam came into me with City Light.
Yeah.
So
what does she say about it?
Kind of the same thing I said. She's like, yeah, it was good. But like, I just don't know if that's like what I fully like believe.
Got it. Yeah. Well, good news is it's good that you guys are on the same page, because like, I think a lot of people underestimate in the beginning, like how important religion's going to be.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, especially as people get older, I feel like they become more religious and more like out of the world. So yeah, that's good that you guys are on the same page.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I think that's it. I think we crushed it.
Yeah, that was a good podcast. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun. Catch me at City Light later. Peace.